We're going to learn a lot about this baseball team today. A team that we're hoping will potentially contend for a spot in the American League postseason. At 2-4, only being 6 games in, it's obviously far too early to jump out to any conclusions, but there were some positives and some negatives from the opening month of March, including a dominant 8-0 opening day win against the Royals. Kansas City had nothing going for them offensively. They only had 1 hit in this game, a fluky double in the 4th inning by TJ Friedl. It was a team effort for us at the plate. Brady Montgomery and Kyle Teal each going deep. Brian Ramos brings home a pair as well. And then Drew Thorpe, 6 innings, 1 hit. That's it. Since then, the pitching has continued to impress. The offense, not so much. After scoring 8 in the opener, we've only scored 12 in our last 5. We really have not hit the ball well overall so far. 23rd in batting average, tied for 19th in walks. Both of those marks noticeably lower than last year, but we're number 1 in ERA. We've only allowed 16 runs, and just 10 of them are earned. Many of the runs that have been scored have not even been because of the pitching, but rather the defense. The pitching has been phenomenal. This was our weakness last year, but Drew Thorpe has looked good through 2 starts. Hayden Wesneski, who was one of our wheel spins, had a terrific outing. He won the 5th job in the rotation in the spring, and he backed it up. 7 dominant innings in his first game against the St. Louis Cardinals, grabbing the win. The bullpen has looked quite strong as well. The only run allowed was by the rookie Ezra Valenzuela in the 2nd game of the year. He was going for his first ever save opportunity and blew it, but he made up for it a couple days later, getting the save against the Cardinals. So the pitching's been top notch. I cannot say the same about the offense, though. There have been some guys who have really not looked good so far. Brady Montgomery is probably the only guy right now who I feel pretty good about how they've played through the first 6 games, and even he's only hitting 200. He's just doing everything else pretty well. The poster child of our struggles has been Colson Montgomery, who drew a walk in his first at-bat of the year and is 0 for 19 since then. And that doesn't even account for the game-losing error in our previous game against the Cardinals. We had a chance to potentially extend it to a 13th inning, but Montgomery bobbled it at the end of the game. Negative .5 WAR. That is the lowest in all of baseball for anyone who does not play for the Colorado Rockies, who shouldn't even count as a big league team. Negative .5 in only 6 games is legitimately pretty impressive. I thought we turned the corner with Colson after a pretty good season last year. This is obviously not a good start, though. We need some guys to step up offensively with the injuries. Edgar Caro missing the first half of the year with a knee injury. This was one of our offseason wheel spins that we found out in the last episode. Obviously a huge loss. We know how good Edgar Caro is, coming off an All-Star, Silver Slugger, and Rookie of the Year season last year. So Kyle Teal now becomes the full-time, everyday starting catcher, and obviously we're going to need him to do well until Caro comes back in June. But he cannot play too well, because he was our other wheel spin, landing on Suspicious Surprise. If his OPS and home run rate are higher than last year, he will get a 60-game PED suspension. Now, currently, neither of those are higher. It doesn't help that he has not drawn a single walk. His average is higher than his on base, which is concerning. He's never really been able to draw walks throughout his career. But the OPS is at around 700. The home run rate is pretty much equal to last year. 1 home run and 21 at-bats, of course, back in the opener. So we need both of those to be better than last year for a suspension. So fingers crossed that's not the case, because otherwise we will go down from 2 really good catchers to 0. That doesn't even account for Douglas Cato, who got injured at the end of spring training. We will not have him likely until the end of May. So that's 2 regular starters for our team who are out. We've got to play well here in April, despite the losses to the offense and despite the early struggles for us at the plate. This is the one episode a year, though, where we do not have wheel spins, because we've still got the 2 from March. We will do our divisional wheel spins, and we're going to go in the opposite order that we did last year. So we will start with the NL West. We'll start with the Dodgers, who acquired Gunnar Henderson in the last episode for Roki Sasaki and Brandon Lau. This lineup is absurd, especially when Alex Bregman gets back. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. might be more than the 6th best hitter in baseball, but he's the 6th best hitter on the Dodgers. So I decided to pick Gunnar Henderson for the spin, since he's their new addition, and he lands on Contact Kid. Plus 20 contact, minus 20 power. Since his contact is already really high, we're going to be fair and even out the changes from contact to power. So his contact against righties, I think, went up by 7 total. So his power against righties goes down by the same number. I think this is probably going to hurt him overall because obviously he's such a dominant power hitter and already has 3 home runs this year. But 99 contact against both lefties and righties is a good consolation. The San Francisco Giants looking to challenge in the division. A guy who played really well for them last year was catcher Patrick Bailey. He hit 300 a season ago. I believe he led all catchers in WAR, given that he had a good offensive season and is one of the better defensive catchers in the league. So far, he has not hit any home runs yet this year. Fitting because he lands on a new wheel spin. We have not seen this one yet. Bombs away. +1 power for every home run hit over the next month or so. 14 last year, 12 the year before. His ratings will not change for this month, but for every home run, his power goes up by 1 against that pitcher. So if the home run is against a righty, his power against righties will go up by 1. San Diego's off to a slow start. Their core getting a little bit older. Matt Waldron, remember, won a Cy Young back in 2026. Did he deserve it? I don't know. Probably not. But he lands on Control Freak, +20 to walks and hits per 9, -20 to home runs and Ks per 9. So basically, his strengths are going to become even stronger and his weaknesses are going to become even worse. Had a really good start with his regular stats to begin the year. Now 93 hits per 9, 99 walks per 9, and since his walks per 9 only went up by 15, I pushed his Ks per 9 down by only 15. Disappointing start for the Diamondbacks, just 1-6 after a playoff berth last year. And a guy who's been kind of disappointing for them is former top pick Jordan Lawler. He's turned into a productive big leaguer, and the power is pretty intriguing. 35 home runs over the last 2 years, but he hasn't really developed the contact at all. His plate skills are also kind of mediocre, strikes out a lot, doesn't really draw a ton of walks. You hope the approach and his at-bats will improve. Well, they should here through April. Another one of our new tiles. I'm excited about this one. Smarter, not harder. -5 to contact and power across the board. So he will be a worse overall hitter. But +20 vision and +20 discipline. I would expect his offensive numbers and his slash line improves, even though his contact and power gets worse because he's going to be whiffing less and he's going to be swinging at less bad pitches, meaning he's going to get more productive at bats. Last but not least, we have the Colorado Rockies. They have a team OPS of around 500 and a team ERA at around 6. That should tell you everything you need to know. This team is awful. And a guy who's been awful for them is Ezequiel Tovar, whose numbers this year are hilariously terrible. Tovar has gotten worse every season at the series. Only a 1.3 WAR last year after really solid numbers in the 2 seasons prior. It seems like he's getting worse at 26 years old. And the Rockies are going to need him to have a good month of April. Otherwise, his ratings will potentially change accordingly as he lands on Spitting Image. He's going to have a good month of April. Otherwise, his ratings might go in the toilet. So with that, we are ready to begin our month of April. I'm not really sure who I want to play against because I've had my eyes on a matchup with Toronto in a couple of weeks, particularly because I wanted to play against their top pick, Antoine Sonnenberg, but he did not make the opening day roster. So because of that, I don't know if we're going to play one of those games or if I'm going to wait until he's called up and the next time we see them. So regardless, we'll get through a 10-game stretch, 7 at home against the Yankees and the Guardians, and then 3 on the road against the Royals. Both Cleveland and Kansas City have been good this year, so those will be important. Colson Montgomery pulled a leg muscle in the second game against the Yankees. He did have base hits in both of them, so that's good. We're making progress. We also won both games and are now looking for the sweep, up 4-2. Bases are loaded, though, with 2 away for the Yankees. It looks like the coaching staff has already decided to bring in Ezra Valenzuela a little bit early, and they'll be facing up against the guy we know pretty well around here, Munetaka Murakami, who nearly won the Rookie of the Year last year. A really, really exciting race between him and Edgar Quero. If Murakami was on the big league team the whole year, things maybe would have been a little different. The 1-0, this one is hit into left, into foul territory. Montgomery after it, and he will make the play. The Yankees leave the bases loaded. The youngster Ezra Valenzuela is fired up. We'll see if the rookie can get the save in the 9th, which he does. A 4-2 win here for Chicago, sweeping the New York Yankees, improving our record to 7-6. Great start here to the month of April. The pitching has picked up right where they left off, only allowing 3 runs through the 3 games of the series in total. Jazz Chisholm and Aaron Judge both go deep here in the last one. Daniel Schneemann with 3 RBIs and a home run in this game for the Sox. Hagen Smith had a good start, better than his first game for sure. ERA down to 2.16. The bullpen shut the door. Now against Cleveland, 2-1, 4-game set against the Guardians, who have been one of the teams to beat in this division. Them in Detroit, consistently making the playoffs. Bases loaded, swinging a miss for Luis Robert against Emmanuel Clase, who's no longer the closer. He has turned into an earlier inning guy, and they're going to take him out after the punch out, bringing in Hunter Gaddis. This team has an embarrassment of riches in the bullpen with these two, Cade Smith and others, 3 of the best relievers in the game all on one team. That's what we're trying to be with some of the guys we've got. It's Brian Ramos, who's been pretty good this year after a great spring training. Pops it up behind the plate. Naylor is under it, and the White Sox leave him loaded in an absolute shocker. So we would add another run, but Cleveland ended up adding 5. They would win this first game of the series 7-2. Naylor, Pena, and J-Ram all bringing home runs. Bullpen certainly fell apart down the stretch. Not that it would have ended up really mattering too much. And our win streak comes to a close. That'll make us 7-7. Daniel Espino, 6 scoreless innings for Cleveland, replacing Freddie Peralta in the rotation, who suffered a season-ending head injury in the first game of the year. As for us, Kyle Teal goes deep for a second time. That's not a good thing because his home run rate might go up, and he wasted it in a game that we lost. At least Hayden Wisniewski pitched well, however. So now that'll bring us into this matchup, bottom of the 9th. We ended up winning the second game of the series 9-3. We're down here in this one 3-1, but we've got 2 runners on for Braden Montgomery, who's obviously been good this year, gets plunked. Cade Smith did not want to throw to him. And to be honest, I don't really blame him. Bases are loaded now for Luis Angel Acuna. He will walk in a run. That'll make it 3-2. Cade Smith cannot find the strike zone right now, as that'll bring up Dylan Cruz, the new kid on the block, hitting just 146. OPS barely above 500. It has not been a good season for him, but he lines it into right. Jason Chorio will make the play, and we will send the runner. Colson Montgomery back healthy, slides home safe. We are tied at 3. Tagging in the runner, Cade Smith allows 2, blows the save, and gets yanked for Hunter Harvey, who will look to bring the Guardians into extra innings. We'll see if the White Sox can walk it off here, tied at 3, with the winning run 90 feet away from home, and Emmanuel Rivera looking to shut the door for the White Sox. Finds himself ahead in the count, 2-1. Rivera hits this one high into center field. I do not think this one has enough carry, as it will be caught, and we are headed to extra innings. Let's fast forward into the 10th. With 1 away, the bases are loaded. I'm not sure why we have kept Enoli Paredes in the game, but we are going to take him out. Ezra Valenzuela is good in the clutch. I want him in big spots like this. His first non-save opportunity of the year. He still has not allowed a run since his first game. We'll see if he can get us out of trouble here. David Fry up for the Guardians, as that one gets by Hosey and should drive in 2. Every day is Friday for the Guardians. They lead at 5-3 with a 2-run single for David Fry, who's driven in 4 of their 5 runs today. Angel Martinez now up for Cleveland, looking to add to the lead. Puts it on the ground, could be 2. Acuna, Montgomery. He does not get another error on an extra innings double play. But it's not going to matter. Cleveland wins the game anyway. We would not score in the bottom of the 10th. Our offense in extra innings this year has been absolutely god-awful. Like, really bad. So we end up only taking 1 of 4 against the Guardians. Not great. The offense was kind of mediocre in this game, although we did it the impressive 9th inning. David Fry with 4 RBIs for Cleveland. Gavin Williams with a good start. Bullpen nearly let it get away from them. Noah Schultz had a solid, good but not great start. Not enough, though, to win the game, as that brings us here into Kansas City. Another extra innings game. How will the offense mess this one up? 2 on, 2 away. The all-star closer, Miguel Lozano, faces off against Brian Ramos, who pops up the first pitch of the at-bat into foul territory. It will be caught. by Blake Mitchell, playing first base today for the Royals. And ultimately, Kansas City would walk it off in the bottom of the 10th inning. This team is so bad in extra innings. I don't get it. Like, why are they so horrible? Bobby Witt Jr., the one to finish it off for the Royals. If we could abolish extra innings games and then turn them into ties, that would be great. On the bright side, though, Colson Montgomery had a good game, 2 hits and a home run. He's playing better than he was, which, I mean, the bar would be on the floor. Hagen Smith allowed 9 hits in 5 innings. Not great, but he did not walk anybody either. We won the last 2 games, though, against Kansas City. Good recovery, pushing us back to 500. Some of the other games we did not go over include this 3-0 win against the Yankees. Great showing from John Gray. 9-3 against Cleveland. The only win in this series and one of our better offensive performances of the year. Rivera homered. He drove in multiple runs along with Ramos, Sanabria, and Braden Montgomery. 4-2 against the Royals. Hayden Wesneski, through his first few starts, has looked like the real deal. 5 1/3 innings, 2 earned, and then we won the last game 5-3 against Kansas City. Luis Angel Acuna with a triple. He drove in a pair along with Escobedo. Drew Thorpe, 8 innings of 1-run ball. He is picking up right where he left off from last year. So now we're around 10% of the way through the year, and we're still pretty low in a lot of major statistical categories. We are 20th in batting average, but the pitching has still been phenomenal. We're 2nd in ERA. I think offense has just been kind of down across the league so far this year, and we are just one of the very extreme versions of that, with our offense not playing well and the pitching is playing well. Through 15 games, Dylan Cruz has given us virtually nothing. His on-base percentage starts with a 1. That is not good. He's got to pick it up. Obviously, Colson's got to pick it up. Luis Robert has really not been good. Only 2 walks. His OPS is in the 500s. He is not homered yet. The power has not been there. The contact has not been there. He's not drawing walks. He's been a net negative offensively. Kyle Teal's only hitting .216. Now, he's slugging a high rate, so it's good that he's not on pace to get the suspension, but it's bad that he hasn't been very good this year, minus his high slugging. We only have one guy with an OPS above 800 right now. That's Braden Montgomery, and his is only a little bit higher at 815. The offense just has not been impressive at all. Nobody outside of Montgomery has really stepped up. So I wanted to wait and see with Antoine Sonnenberg if he would be on the roster. He is still in single A. I don't know if the Blue Jays need him, though. They are 11-4 so far. So I think we're going to simulate through the Toronto series, make it up to Minnesota. I definitely want to pitch with Hayden Wesneski. So we're going to go in this first game against the Jays. We lead it 3-2. Kyle Teal homered again. Uh-oh. We have 9 home runs. They have 29. Like, they're not even in the same league as us. Ezra looking for the save as Arjun Nimala flies it into right, caught by Dylan Cruz for the second out of the inning. We'll see if Ezra can shut the door against what has been probably the best offense in baseball so far this year. Varsho fouls off the sinker, looking to keep things alive. The movement that Ezra has on his pitches is not fair. 96-mile-an-hour cutter gets Varsho, and the White Sox take this one over Toronto 3-2. Once Ezra becomes more consistent with the stuff that he has, he could easily become one of the best relievers in baseball. I am so excited about his future. Good win here against a strong Blue Jays team. I don't love that Kyle Teal went deep because we do not want his home run rate to be too high this month. John Gray with a great game, though, and Bowden Francis, who had not allowed a run in each of his first 3 starts, got rocked. 10 hits allowed in 4 1/3 innings. After winning the second game, we are looking for the sweep, currently trailing 2-1. But we've got 2 runners on base. We've got Luis Robert ready to come in off the bench. Finally homered for the first time this season in our previous game against Toronto. It took him like 3 weeks to get on the board after back-to-back 40 home run seasons as he goes down looking on the 101-mile-an-hour fastball from Johan Duran. Oswaldo Escobedo is our only source of run support today. He homered earlier, pops it up, barely makes it out of the infield, and it will be caught by Andres Jimenez. The Blue Jays avoid the sweep, winning this game 2-1. We did not get much going for us offensively, despite another strong outing from Hagen Smith. He takes the loss, however. Wasn't entirely his fault. The offense was kind of stinky. As for Toronto, they had a couple homers. David Marin, the former number 2 overall pick, has been really good for them so far. And Andres Gimenez has homered 5 times already this year. The same Andres Gimenez who has his hitting stats in the 30s and 40s, his season high in home runs this series is 7. He already has 5. His on-base percentage is better than his slugging percentages in recent years. This Toronto team has taken a surprising step up, and that's without Antoine Sonnenberg, along with the number 1 overall pick upcoming in this summer's draft. They went from a 100-loss team to a squad who appears to have one of the brightest futures in the AL within the span of about 3 weeks. I like that we won the second game, though, and won this series. Lou Bob going deep. Rhys Hoskins and David Marin homering for the Blue Jays. Hoskins has been a revelation. He's been one of the best power hitters in the league. So that'll bring us to this 4-game set against Minnesota. As I said earlier, I want to pitch with Hayden Wesneski. I want to take a look at him in the midst of his wheel spin, if you will. The team is currently 10-9. We have a positive run differential. The offense, though, still has not been good, particularly the power. Tied for 28th, ironically, with Minnesota in home runs, and we're 24th in slugging. The team is finding ways to win games, though, despite the fact that the offense has been unimpressive, the contact has not been great, the plate discipline has not been great, and the power has really not been good. So I would like to think once the offense comes back down to earth in a good way, then things are going to be looking better for our record. But on the flip side, I got to imagine the pitching will come back down to earth negatively because they have been obviously really good this year. Dylan Cruz's OPS now starts with a number 4. That is not good. He's got to pick it up. We're making some shifts with the lineup today. Braden Montgomery and Oswaldo Escobedo taking the top 2 spots. Nobody's done a better job of getting on base than those two, so we will reward them. David Festa gets the start for the Twins. In 15 innings so far, he has an ERA of 3. Pretty good. WHIP at 1.6. Not pretty good. Braden Montgomery leads things off, hitting .288, drawing a lot of walks, and there is another. His approach at the plate this year has been so impressive. Clearly put a lot of work into it in the offseason. 2 away here for Kyle Teal. His average is down to .203 as Teal lines this one well into left field, but it will be caught. It's crazy that Kyle Teal was the last player in the MLB last year to hit below 400. It took him, 3 months until he got back from injury. And now he's barely hitting above the Mendoza line. His power's been good and his defense has been good. It's not like he's been Dylan Cruz bad, but hitting 200 is not ideal. Here's Hayden Wesneski, ERA barely above 2, WHIP below 1. He's been awesome in his first 3 starts as he paints the corners with the slurve on William Contreras. What a pitch. Royce Lewis now up for the Twins, only hitting .224, a free agent in the offseason, goes down on the cutter. Wesneski has never been a strikeout guy, and with his Ks per 9 rating down, it's cool to see him getting a couple early. To start the second, in the left, it's Hosey. This one will drop. Taylor Trammell does not make the play. Jose over to second, safe with a double. Our first base runner of the game. Cody Jose in scoring position with nobody out, and we'll see if Chicago can bring him in. It's Brian Ramos now with Jose at third, a grounder over to second. Luke Keeschel will make the play, but that does score Jose, and the White Sox are on the board as it is now 1-0. Bottom 2. Wesneski looking strong early against the struggling Matt Wallner, only hitting .182, and he goes down on the 4-seam fastball. Good pitch by Wesneski. Another punch out. Into the third. Braden Montgomery up with 1 away for the White Sox, and this one is bounced up the middle. Going to be a close play. Throw to first. Not in time. Good effort at short from Brooks Lee, but Montgomery gets an infield single. He reaches base for a second time today. That'll bring up Oswaldo Escobedo. We haven't talked a lot about him this year, but he's been playing quite well as of recent, up to .294, but he goes down on the high fastball. Luis Robert, who has not played well, count is full, pops it up. Keeschel calls everybody off. It's a major league fly ball as he makes the play. That one was in the air for a while. Still 1-0. We'll go bottom 3. We'll see if Hayden Wesneski, who has not allowed a base runner yet, can continue his dominant stretch. Luke Keeschel, the young second baseman, has been pretty solid so far for the Twins, hitting nearly .270. but he goes down on the fastball at 96. That'll bring up Taylor Trammell. He's been one of the worst qualified hitters in baseball this year, but he gets a hold of this one into right. That baby is gone. 4-17 for Taylor Trammell, the first base runner all game for Minnesota, but he will not be staying on base. Soto's shot for Trammell, his first home run of the year, and we are knotted up at 1 apiece. So if Trammell is no longer the worst qualified hitter in the league, it might be Mike Antico, who has not been much better. Grounder to first, Rivera flips it to Escobedo, who makes a really nice play getting to the bag. Good job by Escobedo to notice that nobody was covering first. His defense was really bad last year, but has been perfect this season. Contreras goes down looking. Good end of the inning for Wisniewski. He's only allowed 1 base runner through 3. Problem is, it was a home run. Into the 4th, Emmanuel Rivera on the ground with 2 away. Brooks Lee makes the play. Another dud so far from the offense. We got the run in the 2nd inning, but many of the struggles have come back. We only have 1 extra base hit. We only have a couple walks. Has not been great at the plate by any stretch. But luckily, our pitching, again, for the 1000th time this year, has bailed us out. Wisniewski gets Royce Lewis to swing and miss. Now Brooks Lee, 1-2. He grounds this one over to short. Colson Montgomery scoops it on the backhand. Throw to first is in time. Wisniewski has still only allowed 1 base runner so far. He has been absolutely awesome. He's been good in the bullpen pros over the last couple of years, but I didn't know what to expect with him as a starter, given that when we've had him start in the past, it has not gone well. Ramos to second. What a play by Keishel for the first out of the inning. A great snag by the young second baseman. 2 away here for Colson Montgomery. He draws a walk. Hey, that's a base runner. We only have 4 base runners through 5 innings today. Braden Montgomery's got on twice. The other 8 guys have combined to get on twice. Lucky for us, Braden's right back up. He singles into right. He now has 2 hits and a walk today. I mentioned it in the last episode, but I swear, every time we play with Braden Montgomery, he's like the greatest hitter ever. Oswaldo Escobedo goes down looking. We will not drive in either of the Montgomerys on base. Festas through 5, remains tied at 1. Ryan Jeffers with 1 away in the bottom half. Chases the cutter. Jeffers signed that big deal a couple off seasons ago. Has not worked out for him in Minnesota. It's a good thing they drafted a 98 potential catcher in the first round last year. Luke Keishel, liner to first, snagged by Rivera. As we are through 5, still tied at 1. Only 3 hits and a couple of walks for the Sox, but that's more than Minnesota can say. They still only had the home run. Festa's out. Randy Dobnak, who's had a great year so far, is in. And he'll pick up right where David Festa left off. A 1-2-3 inning finished off by a fly out into right from Cody Hosey. Bottom 6, Taylor Trammell had the home run for Minnesota back in the 3rd. Not again. Goes down on the fastball. Minnesota as a team is 1 for 17 against Wisniewski tonight. Antico the 2-2. This one is blasted into right. That baby is gone. 381. First homer of the year for Antico. It does not make sense that the 1 through 7 hitters in the Minnesota lineup today are 0 for 14, yet the 2 worst qualified hitters maybe in Major League Baseball have both homered. We're going to take Hayden out of the game here, given that, he's only started, 8 games since we acquired him multiple seasons ago. I don't want to put too much on him. I don't want this to get out of hand, and he allows a couple more base runners, and it just kind of gets ugly. So we're going to take him out now. We'll replace him with Jairo Iriarte. We haven't used him a lot this year. I want our usage of him to go up. I switched him from a long reliever to a middle reliever before this game, so hopefully that ends up being the case. Against Walker Jenkins, swinging a miss on the fastball. Iriarte gets out of the inning, but not before Mike Antico sends one into the seats. Cole Sands in for Minnesota here in the 7th, still 2-1. Nothing on the scoreboard for the White Sox since the 2nd inning. With 1 away, it is Brian Ramos. Count is full. Ramos drove in our only run today, and he will draw a walk. So we get a base runner, if nothing else, and after 3 batters, they're going to take Sands out of the game. They want to get the lefty-on-lefty matchup. Cody Funderburk coming out of the bullpen against Colson Montgomery. Well, here's the thing. I don't want Colson Montgomery up in a high leverage spot regardless of who's pitching with how bad he's been this year. Even if it was a righty, I probably would have pinch hit him anyway. We're going to bring in Luis Angel Acuna. His average is not much better, but high power track record in the past, and he's drawn a lot of walks this year, but he goes down on the cutter. Through 7, remains 2-1. Sands and Thunderberg get out of the inning for Minnesota. Jairo Iriarte staying in the game for the White Sox as Royce Lewis goes down on the slider. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter. Brooks Lee now finds himself behind in the count 1-2. And Lee gets a hold of this one, looks to send it into the gap. Montgomery runs right by it. What was that? Turns a single into a double for Lee, who's now in scoring position. And Minnesota has somebody on base for the first time all night. Their only 2 base runners were home runs, so they were never technically on base. I don't know what Braden's doing there. I'll give him a pass because he's the only guy who's shown up offensively tonight. But, yeah, not ideal, especially if they drive in that runner. We're going to take Iriarte out, although we would have taken him out regardless of the result in the at-bat, because we'll be getting Brock Burke in the game, who is an ERA of 0. The back end of the bullpen with Burke, Tony Santillan, and Penn Murphy have combined to allow 0 runs in over 30 innings of work. Jeffers into right. Cruz does not make the play. It'll go to the wall. That'll score a run. An earned run against Iriarte. An RBI double with 2 outs for Ryan Jeffers. And the Twins add to the lead as it is now 3-1. Cruz with a good effort. That's not on him. He had to make a really sharp angle if he wanted any chance to catch that ball on the fly. Keishel over to second. Escobedo makes the play. Twins add another run, though. They lead it 3-1. Offense has got to wake up. Minnesota's got a good back end of the pen just like us. James McArthur, ERA sub-1. Now, he'll be facing off against the top of the order, which means he's got to start with this demon. Braden Montgomery belts it into center. He has reached base 4 times tonight. That pitch had a ton of movement, and he still cranked it 111 miles an hour. Braden Bonds is different. We're going to have him go for second, and as soon as I had him run, I knew that was a horrible decision. Even though he was safe, he's not the tie and run. He's not the guy we should be aggressive with. I mean, it worked out, so I guess I don't really regret it, but in hindsight, that was kind of stupid. Especially because Escobedo draws a walk anyway. Although I think we got gifted one there. That pitch was in the zone. Good take, though, by Waldo. His plate skills for a 20-year-old are so impressive. And that brings up Luis Robert, who's hitting .273 with runners in scoring position. He's doing well with guys on base, but not off base. And sure enough, he gets this one into the gap in right center. Montgomery scores and will send around the speedy Escobedo. There will be no play at the plate. We are tied at 3. 2-run double for Luis Robert, who has not been good this year. Historically, he's not a good clutch hitter, but apparently he is now. On the ground, I thought that was a double play. He didn't even hit it that well. Then it got out of the infield. I assumed it was just a single. But the ball just kept going and going, slowly but surely, to the wall. So MacArthur allows a 113-mile-an-hour single on a great pitch, a walk that was objectively a bad call by the umpire, and one of the weaker hit doubles that you'll find. He still allowed 3 base runners in 3 at-bats, though. That's not good enough. He'll be replaced by Zach Little, who has not pitched yet this season. 4.28 ERA, 1.29 whip, and 124 innings in 2027. Still nobody out for what it's worth as Kyle Teel gets a hold of this one. Drives it deep into right center. At the track, at the wall, it is gone! 391! Kyle Teel gives us the... Oh no, his home run rate. I want to get excited because this is a huge home run in the 8th inning to put us on top by 2. And I am excited because this offense is finally showing some fight. But Kyle Teel now has 4 home runs in what I assume is less than 80 at-bats, and that'll certainly help his OPS get closer to the threshold for his suspension. With 1 away, Emmanuel Rivera singles into left. That's now 5 base runners in the inning for us. We had 5 base runners in the first 7 innings combined. Ramos on the ground. Here is the untimely double play that we've been waiting for. Hard to complain, though, considering we scored 4. Couple of really good at-bats from Montgomery and Escobedo, per usual. And then Lou Bob and Teal bring home the runs. Rivera bobbles it at first. Tries to beat Trammell to the bag. He does not. An E3 from the normally short-handed Rivera, former Gold Glover. And a leadoff runner is aboard for Minnesota. Mike Antico now up for the Twins. This one will get by Rivera and Oswaldo for a hit. I kept Burke into the game because we were facing off against the two lefties, two of the worst players in the league, and they both got on base. So we're going to take Burke out of the game now. As I mentioned, the veterans at the end of the bullpen have been awesome this year, and one of those guys is Tony Santillan, the strikeout machine who was amongst MLB's leaders in strikeouts for relief pitchers last year. His Ks per 9 a season ago over 11. This year it's been just as good, a strikeout rate of nearly 30%. And the guy is not allowing runs. Him, Burke, and Murphy, the latter of which has thrown over 14 scoreless. Contreras gets a piece of this one, though, into center. Robert at the track, at the wall, it is gone! 419 feet, the Twins right back ahead, 6-5. We did all that in the top of the 8th inning to score 4 and take the lead, all for naught. The Twins get a run off of the error. Brock Burke allows his first earned run of the year, as does Tony Santillan. Wilson Contreras gets it over the fence. I really don't think Luis Robert ever had a chance to rob it, even though the game kind of made it out to look like that. He was not going to go up and catch this ball. He is not Thanos. So it is now 6-5. A low-scoring pitching duel is all of a sudden giving us some highlights as Walker Jenkins goes down on the slider, now against Royce Lewis. Right back to the slider, gets away from Teal, but he will make the throw to first. And this is the Tony Santillan, who we've gotten throughout the year. One of the best strikeout artists in baseball. That has turned out to be a great trade for us for Bailey Falter a couple years ago, as he gets Brooks Lee as well. So Santillan faces off against 4 batters. He punches out 3 of them. Problem is, Wilson Contreras sends this ball into the seats to bring home 3. The Twins now lead 6-5 going into the 9th. With Griffin Jacks coming into the game, their closer is not allowed to run this year. 6 of 6 in save ops. But his average against right-handed batters is 600. He's going to face off against the magnum opus of right-handed hitting this year, Dylan Cruz. The stoppable force meets the movable object. And, of course, Dylan Cruz will not get a hit off of the guy who is allowing a 600 average to righties. Daniel Schneemann, we bring in off the bench, hoping for his 9th inning devil magic. Doesn't work out. And the game will come down to the top of the order. Guess who's up? No player I would rather right now than this guy. Braden Montgomery, who's reached base all 4 at-bats today, fouls off the sinker to keep things alive. Montgomery just automatically gets on base whenever we play with him. I can't explain it, but he also hits for power. But he goes down on the fastball, 99-mile-an-hour swing and miss, and the Minnesota Twins hang on 6-5. This game started out as a pitching duel. Hayden Wisniewski allowed 2 base runners tonight. But then the offenses got going, combining for 7 runs in the 8th inning. We wasted a Kyle Teal home run, losing in a game where Kyle Teal's home run rate will still go up. BMO was impressive. He reached base 4 times. Nobody else got on more than once, though. So even though we had the impressive 8th inning, we need more from everybody else. Braden Montgomery cannot carry the team alone. Hayden Wisniewski was really good. I mean, he was awesome. He did allow the 2 homers, but other than that, he was flawless. Bullpen, not so much. Burke and Santillan allow their first runs of the year. Bullpen's been great. So on one hand, I kind of want to give them a break. But on the other hand, for how well we pitched today, we should not have allowed 6 runs. No way in hell. So we dropped this game to the Twins. We're looking to bounce back over the next couple of games here on the road. We've got some of our better pitchers going. Thorpe, Gray, and Schultz, the 3 guys I probably still feel most confident in, even with Hayden Wisniewski's surge, although I'm gaining a lot of trust in him quickly. We're going to wrap up the Minnesota series and then a 6-game homestand against the Padres and A's. Cody Hosey, torn calf, out for a month or two. That is not good. Hosey's been one of the few guys who's given us some stability in the lineup. Yeah, he hasn't been great. The power hasn't really been there. But the guy's hitting .297, and he's playing good defense. He's been one of our more consistent players this year. We're going to bring up Jacob Gonzalez, who started the minor league season on a tear. He has certainly slowed down, but the numbers are still really strong. 14 walks, OPS above 800. When he played last year, I thought he was pretty good. Slugged .443. He had 9 extra base hits and 61 at-bats. The power was really impressive from him down the stretch last year, so hopefully that can continue, given that he's going to play very regularly for us over the next month. Over the next 2 games against Minnesota, we would combine to score 2 runs. Losing both of them, and we are in danger of a 4-game sweep. Lucky for us, however, Noah Schultz has pitched the game of his life. 8 scoreless innings, but we're in danger of choking it here in the 9th. The team is back down to dead last, for what it's worth, in home runs, still second in ERA. We got to make sure Ezra can seal the deal. 2 on for Antico up the middle. That'll score a run. The Twins make it 2-1. Any margin of error that we had is now gone with a runner in scoring position. I'm going to put my fate in the rookie, though, to seal the deal for us. Back to the top of the order. Contreras looks at the cutter, and on the pitch, Valenzuela hurt his leg? When I saw the injury designation, I was worried it could have been like his elbow or something. That would have been horrible. But a leg injury. We're going to take him out of the game, replace him with Penn Murphy. 14 1/3 scoreless innings. Murphy, who's a free agent, by the way, at the end of the year, has made himself a lot of money. And if we do choose to sell him at the deadline, we would certainly get quite the haul back for him, assuming he keeps up somewhat this level of play. The movement that he has on his pitchers just feels different than seasons 1 and 2. As Contreras belts it into left. Will they try to tie the game? No. Not going to test Braden's arm. Probably a good decision. The runner would have been out by a mile. Okay, now we really don't have any margin for error with the bases loaded. 1 away here for Walker Jenkins in a 1-run game. Jenkins hits it into center. Could that be enough for a sacrifice? They're going to give it a go. The throw from Lou Bob is offline, and the Twins tie it at 2. Noah Schultz, who has pitched the best game of his career, will not get credited with the win. Now the Twins are going to look to walk it off. It's Carlos Correa. Behind 1-2, he has been chasing the Slurves. This one gets away. He does not chase it, and the 2 runners will advance. So now there is a runner 90 away from home for Correa. Count is full. He draws a walk. We didn't want to give him anything good. There's no reason to throw him a strike. We're fine with the walk because the only runner that matters is the guy at third. Royce Lewis is hitting 190. We'll see if he can finish off the job. Count is full. Walk ends the game. This has to be a strike. The 3-2. Lewis into center field. That'll go for a hit, and the Twins walk it off. 3-2. A 4-game sweep as Chicago goes down to Minnesota. This is a catastrophic 4-game sweep because these were winnable games. Could have won the first game. Should have won today. Noah Schultz dominated. But the offense did not give us enough, and the bullpen blew it. Ezra Valenzuela sucked. Penn Murphy, not free of blame at all. He allowed 3 base runners and let the game finish this way. As for the Twins, their offense was not good, but they were good when they needed to be. Bailey Ober only threw 2 innings. I guess he got hurt, but the bullpen did a great job. So Ezra's probably only going to miss a few games. Luckily, not a serious injury. But getting swept here by Minnesota really hurts. This is the type of series that can deteriorate team morale and can really hurt our chances this season. We wasted a really good Drew Thorpe start in the second game, although Dylan Cruz homered, so that's a positive. And then 4-0. I don't even know if I want to see that box score in the third game. We've got 6 against San Diego and the A's. Offense has to be better. No excuses. So we'll start with this series against the Padres. And look, the offense has been better. Braden Montgomery, first home run since opening day. Problem is the pitching hasn't been good. We trail 7-5 here in the 10th. The Padres scored 3 in the top half, but we're actually starting to get something going here. We've scored 1 so far. We had the tying run at first. The winning run up. It's Corey Julks off the bench. 3-1. Tough take, but he'll let that one go. Looking at the first 5 pitches of the at-bat to make the count full. If he gets on base, the winning run would be aboard for us. The 3-2. On the ground, this could do it. And the Padres will win it off of the double play, 7-5. The White Sox continuously will find ways to trip over themselves, and that happens again. The pitching was not great. Higgins-Smith was mediocre, and the bullpen was certainly not good down the stretch. 7 strong innings for Matt Waldron. Offense really was not that bad. 10 hits, 5 runs. BMO goes deep. Second of the year. Actually, really the pitching was not that bad. Iriarte, Sewald, and Burrell were all good. It was just Smith and Enoli Paredes. We did win the second game. That's good. We're looking to win the series now. We find ourselves down 2-1 in the 8th. The offense has not given us anything other than an Emmanuel Rivera homer in the first. Oswaldo Escobedo available on the bench. I trust him really more than just about anybody on the team right now, other than maybe Braden Montgomery. Pair of runners on base. Go ahead, run it first. Waldo up the middle. Nice scoop by Estrada. Could be 2. Another double play. This team infuriates me. We will get our chance, though, in the bottom of the 9th. Colson Montgomery reaches base. Carlos Estevez looking for the save for San Diego. Jacob Gonzalez is 0 for 3. He has 1 hit since being called up. He is 1 for 15. And he pops this one up, slams the bat in frustration. Gonzalez has not picked up where he left off from September last year, as that one will be caught for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring us Braden Montgomery. Who else in this spot? 1 for 3 with a double today. Homered earlier in this series. Average is up to .299. The 3-2. Fouls it away. That was the pitch. Fastball up and in. At least he protected it, though. So the game and the at-bat stays alive. The 3-2 here for BMO. The pitch from Estevez. Got him looking! High heat at 96. The Padres win this game, and they win the series 2-1. 6 2/3 from our good friend Aaron Savale. Yet another dud from the offense. We did score 5 runs in each of the first 2 games, so I can't be that upset. But the offense was not good today. 6 hits, 4 walks. Only run came off the homer by Rivera. Drew Thorpe, the former Padres prospect who was there for about 5 minutes, pitched well, got the loss though. Bullpen did not allow a hit in the final 3 innings, but it did not matter. We will be getting Ezra Valenzuela back from injury. His ERA is in the mid-5s, but he's only had a couple of bad outings so far. Now against the A's, look at this. We've got offense! And the pitching, of course, decides to suck. 8-7 here in the 11th. Emmanuel Rivera, the tying run is at second base. Dylan Cruz has been productive, 2 for 5, a double and a stolen base. We'll see if he can finally give us the big swing we've been waiting for. The 1-2 from Soriano. This one is hit high and deep into center field. Not deep enough as it's caught for the second out of the inning. We're going to go to the bench here with our next at-bat. We're going to bring in Luis Robert, who is still very much not playing well. His average at .208. This would be pretty poetic, though, to walk it off to revive his season. He's at 199 home runs on his career. How cool would that be for home run number 200 to not only win us the game, but really get his mojo back? The 3-2 up the middle, base hit. That's not a homer, but we'll take it. Rivera around third. Throw to the plate is a beauty, but it's not in time. And the White Sox tie it at 8 despite a bullet from J.J. Bleday. Kyle Teal will come off the bench now for Romeo Sanabria. His OPS is kind of climbing a little bit. I don't know if it has a chance to be 840, but he is still hitting for good power. Count is 3-0, and he's going to let that one go for a walk. So the potential go-ahead run is now at second base. Teal is not really all that relevant here in the equation since the important run is the winning run, Luis Robert. The A's are going to take out George Soriano, though, given that he has not been able to close out the game or at least get out of the inning. And they will have Trent Thornton come out of the bullpen here to try to send this game into a 12th inning. It's Jacob Gonzalez, who's had a pretty good game. 2 for 3, pair of hits, and a pair of walks. First pitch, Gonzalez hits it well into left. Got some carry at the wall. It is gone! A walk-off winner for Jacob Gonzalez. His first home run of the year, and Chicago wins it 11-8. The same team a week ago who could not hit at all against Minnesota puts up 11 with a walk-off by Gonzo to win the game. Even when our pitching struggled, allowing 8 runs, the most amount of runs that we have given up in a game all year, the offense combats with this. Gonzalez, the winner, he had a great game, reaching base 5 separate times in this one, helping lead the Sox to the win. Ezra Valenzuela takes the W. I don't know why he was in for 3 innings, but he only allowed 1 base runner in those 3, so you got to give him credit. He pitched great. The A's would have been up 8-6 going into the bottom of the 8th, and look who they would have brought in the game. It would have been Danny Young, the former White Sox, who fittingly folded in a clutch situation. That is incredibly on brand for him. He has a really high pitch clutch rating, yet in the big moments of games, he always has folded for us. So this feels poetic. We had 16 hits and 8 walks. That is 24 base runners. Only 1 homer. We need the power to get better, but 24 base runners is a whole lot. John Gray was not great. Bullpen really was not that bad, though, especially Ezra Valenzuela, who was terrific. That is how you start a series. What I find interesting is that we're actually in second place in the AL Central in runs, but the other 10 teams in the AL have all scored more than we have. So I guess there's just no offense in the American League Central. Very competitive division. We're in last, but only 3.5 games out of first. So we will be making a slight switch to the pitching schedule. I'm going to have Hayden Wisniewski pitch the second game, and Noah Schultz will have his start moved over to the Baltimore series. I wanted to make sure Hayden pitched 2 more games in April, with his ratings being the way they are. So we ended up scoring double digits again in the second game. We won 10-5. And are now looking for the sweep. Does not look like we're going to get 10 runs again, though. But we've got a chance to win it here in the bottom of the 9th. Mason Miller in for the save. Runner aboard here for Daniel Schneemann. And we've got some interesting options off the bench. Braden Montgomery and Oswaldo Escobedo are both available. But with some of the moments that Daniel Schneemann gave us last year, I have faith in him that he's going to pull a rabbit out of his hat. Sure enough, he singles in to left. Tying a run up to second, winning run at first base, still with nobody out, and I think this is where we're going to make some changes. Do we bring in Braden or do we bring in Waldo? My head tells me to bring in Braden Montgomery because I just feel a lot more comfortable swinging the bat with him. But my gut says Waldo. I think he's been a little bit more dependable this year, and I guess I was wrong because he goes down on the slider. That'll bring up Emmanuel Rivera, who's been playing very well as of recent, average up to 277. The 2-1. This one is on the ground. This could do it. 3-6-1. Double play. Loses the game. Again, incredibly on brand. We did score 21 runs, though, in the first 2 games. Our first 2 double-digit outings of the year. So I'm not going to get on the offense. They played very well in this series against Oakland. I'm still used to calling them Oakland. Against the Athletics. I wish we could have donated some of those runs here to this last game. Brent Rooker homers, just his 3rd of the year. Luis Robert homers for the 3rd time this season. Hagen Smith, 5 scoreless, and the bullpen let us down. Particularly Tony Santiano, who gets the loss. Torn Achilles for Zach DeLoach in Double-A. That is rather unfortunate for him. We are still 28th in homers, even though we scored, 24 runs across these 3 games, including 10 in the second against the A's. Waldo and Corey Julks both sending balls over the seats. Hayden Wisniewski was good but not great, and that gets us set for this series against Baltimore. Corey Julks is hitting .387. OPS at around 1,000. This is what he was doing last year in AAA. His WAR is only .1, though, because his defense has sucked, but we've got to get him in the lineup more, the way he's playing. So now we're going to play against the new-look Orioles, who are 16-12. They had the exact opposite problems that we do. They're having no issues scoring runs. They have a team OPS in the high 700s. The problem is their pitching has not been good. Michael King, ERA of 6. We'll get to see him today. Zach Gallen, who's pitching in the second game, his ERA is in the 4s. Roki Sasaki, who they got in the Gunnar Henderson trade, pitching in the last game, his ERA is in the 6s. This rotation has not been good this year, but they've played well over their last 4 starts, except for the walks, where they are in dead last. We'll see what Michael King can do. He was very good last year, but has not been very solid to start year number 4. Here's a look at both lineups. Braden and Waldo still at the 1 and 2 slot. I feel really good about those two guys at the top of the order, at least until Douglas Cato is back. As we take a look at Michael King, ERA at 6 on the nose, whip at 1.71. Just has not been very good this year, and we're hoping that continues, especially now that our offense has been rejuvenated after the series against the Athletics. Braden Montgomery will lead us off to get things started. Montgomery belts it up the middle. That's going to go in the gap past Jackson Holliday. 113 off the bat. Braden Bonds picking up right where he left off. Playing with him in-game feels like I'm using Tony Gwynn, but we've hit multiple home runs with him over the last couple of years. You know you're doing well when a Tony Gwynn comparison is a bad thing. One away here for Luis Robert. Launches it into center. He thrusts the bat away 459 feet for Lou Bob, and the White Sox lead it 2-0. His 4th home run of the season. Luis Robert only homered twice in our first, 25 games of the year, but he has now homered in back-to-back games. It seems like the power might finally be back for Lou Bob, especially considering how long and hard that ball was hit. Pause. I mean, that ball did not barely go over the fence. That thing was cranked, and he knew it. Tosses the bat away. An A-plus pimp job for Luis Robert. That'll bring up Kyle Teal, 3-2, up the middle base hit. His average has gotten better, up to 234. His OPS now in the high 700s. We're only a week away until his suspension would kick in. I don't think it's going to happen, which is a good thing, but there is a chance if he goes on a tear. So hopefully he doesn't. Brian Ramos swings and misses at the sweeper, behind in the count 1-2 with 2 away, and he goes down on the sinker. Good inning, though, for Chicago with a 2-run shot by Luis Robert. As that will bring us into the bottom of the first. We will take a look at the standout lefty, Noah Schultz. His last outing, he was terrific, throwing 8 scoreless innings against the Twins. We ended up losing that game. Certainly not his fault, but the bullpen completely pissed on themselves in the 9th. Schultz has been good this year, even though he doesn't have a win yet. He has an ERA barely above 3. Whip at 1.31 isn't great, but the 24% strikeout rate is. We'll start with Jackson Holliday, who goes down on the 2-seamer, lefty-on-lefty crime. Jackson Holliday, the new franchise player with Gunnar Henderson now with the Dodgers. Oselvis Basabe gets that one by Rivera for a base hit. Basabe playing second as Brandon Lau, who also came in that deal for Gunnar Henderson, is currently injured. Basabe, though, has played really well, taking over that spot as he goes for second and is safe. Not a bad throw by Kyle Teal. But now Basabe has the Orioles in scoring position. We'll see if they can put themselves on the board here in the first. Mike Trout has turned back the clock. This is vintage mid-2010s Trout. Goes down on the fastball, though. Noah Schultz gets him inside with the 2-seamer. That's the pitch that he seems most comfortable with right now. He's got full command of that 2-seamer. Top of the second, Corey Julks, 387 average. Goes down looking on the fastball. Julks has been a regular starter against lefties, but with how good he's been overall, we need him out there every day. The offense has not been good, and he has been, so it's a pretty simple solution. Luis Angel Acuna goes down looking as well. He is getting the start for Colson Montgomery, who is playing less and less as his struggles continue. Joey Bart into right. This one rolls to the wall. Cruz bobbles it as he tries to pick it up, and Bart is safe with a double. They will rule that a single and then an error on Cruz. I don't really agree with that. I think Bart would have gotten a double anyway. So I don't think that should have been an error, but whatever. Herberto Hernandez goes down on the sweeper. Good pitch there by Schultz. Now against Anderson de los Santos. The 3-2 swings way too early. De los Santos is a guy who's been heavily rewarded by our rating system. He's been awesome for the O's and the Miners over the last couple of years. And he's been good so far for them this year in the big leagues. That was our stats last series against the A's. We hit .328, OPS above 1,000, 20 extra base hits, and 5 home runs. That is pretty ridiculous. Brady Montgomery leads off the third, and he will draw a walk. I wouldn't want to pitch to him either. I don't blame you, Michael King. I would have done the same thing. Oswaldo Escobedo up now. He will send this one into center, and it will bloop down for a base hit. So we've got 2 runners on base, the 2 guys who have gotten on more consistently than anyone, fittingly. That'll bring up Luis Robert. His OPS now back above 700 off of the homer. He's making progress, or at least I thought. Nearly grounds into a double play. Good hustle, though, to make it over to first. Give his runners on the corners here at an opportunity for Kyle Teal to do some damage. Teal finds himself ahead in the count, 2-1. Base hit his last at bat. This one will go to short. What a play by Holiday, who completely misses the throw. Lou Bob heads for third. It will be ruled a throwing error by Holiday. Run does score, and it's 3-0 Chicago. Instead of the inning maybe being over, there's runners on the corners with 1 away. Nearly a great play by Holiday, but all for naught. King will get the 1 out at first. Is he stupid? Why did he not go home? If you're not going to get the double play, get the out at home. I do not get the thought process at all. I guess there's a reason why his ERA is so bad, though. Runner at second, 2 away, 4-0 for Brian Ramos, who draws a walk. So now there's 2 on and 2 away. Michael King really is not pitching well in this game. His struggles throughout the year have continued. Full count for Julks. Lines it to first. It is caught by De Los Santos, potentially saving a run from being scored. The White Sox do bring home 2, though, largely because of good base running and bad defense. Grant McCray leads off the third with a walk on the sweeper. That pitch just a bit outside. Jackson Holiday back up, hitting .278. Sends it into left. Montgomery drops it. What is with our outfield and the defense? In every game we've played in this series, one or both of Dylan Cruz or Braden Montgomery have each made a hilarious play. Now, Braden's hitting the ball well and Dylan is not, so there's levels to this, I guess. Jordan Westburg goes down on the punch out. That's 6 for Schultz. 2-2 for Trout. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Goes down looking. Trout with a pair of Ks early. He's been great otherwise this year. Phenomenal power. OPS above 1,000. I mean, this really is like Angels mid-2010s Mike Trout, even though he hasn't shown it yet today. He's been so good for the Orioles this year. Dylan Cruz belts this one into left center. 108 off the bat. It'll one-hop off the wall, and it'll go for a double. Dylan Cruz is starting to play a little bit better. He's starting to improve. The average is climbing around the Mendoza line, which is progress for him. And the Orioles are going to take out Michael King. They were due to do that. King has just not been very good. Cade Povich will come in to replace him. Braden Montgomery, another hit. Who's surprised? Runarounds from third, heads home. An RBI single for Braden Montgomery, who has reached base all 3 at-bats here in the first 4 innings. That might be the least surprising thing about this game. That'll bring up Escobedo, the 1-1. He puts it on the ground. Could be a double play, and it is. That result might be the second least surprising thing in this game. White Sox on the board, though. They lead at 5-0 with the RBI single by Braden Montgomery. Joey Bart will lead off the bottom of the 4th. Had the single legged into kind of the double with the error. In his last at-bat, he goes down on the off-speed. A filthy pitch by Schultz, who's at 8 strikeouts. Now Heriberto Hernandez goes down on the fastball. That's 9. These guys are just not putting the bat to the ball. Flat out. Noah Schultz, who's coming off an 8-inning masterclass, has looked even better here against Baltimore. Top 5, 2 away for the former Oriole, Emmanuel Rivera. Lines it into right where it will be caught. Good snag by Trout. Good inning for Cade Povich, and that'll bring us to the bottom half of the frame. 1-2 for McRae. Chases the sweeper. Great pitch by Schultz. This is as good of a pitching performance as we've seen in this series. I mean, this guy is just laying down the lumber through 5 innings. He's allowed maybe 2 or 3 base runners. He has 10 strikeouts so far. He's making Jackson Holliday and Mike Trout look foolish. As that brings us into the 6th. Brian Ramos belts this one into center, and that one will go for a hit. Ramos reaches base once again. Walked his last time, now with a single. He could use some hits. His average was at 191 before that base hit. 2-2 for Acuna. Checks his swing. Looks like he went around. And the Orioles are able to get out of it as it remains 5-0. Their offense has got to wake up, though, against Noah Schultz, who has been as dominant as it gets. 2-3-4 hitters due up, though, so this could be their opportunity to change something. Basabe into left. Montgomery will not make the play. Luis Robert will call him off. Given that Lou Bob has the better arm, I'd probably rather him making the throw. It is a double, though, for Basabe, who is in scoring position to start the inning. Now he's at third. Full count for Mike Trout. You don't want to give him anything too good. Change up just low at the zone, and it'll go for a walk. First and third. I'm going to give Schultz the benefit of the doubt. He's been so good as of recent. I believe in him to get us out of this jam, and that might have been a mistake. Bart singles it into right. Trout heads for third, and he is safe. An RBI single for Joey Bart. That'll make it a 5-1 ball game. We're going to keep Schultz in. His leash, though, is extremely low. Full count for Kobe Mayo. He draws a walk, and the bases are loaded. 5 dominant innings for Schultz has turned into a disastrous 6th, and we're going to take him out now before things get worse. Still a really good outing for the most part. It just got away from him at the end, but he's been playing some really good baseball as of recent. Tony Santillan will replace him. He had that really bad game against the A's. Strikeout rate sits at 35%, though, and that number will go up. Heriberto Hernandez goes down on the slider. That'll bring up Anderson de Los Santos. This is Baltimore's chance to break the game open. Might be their only chance. He should not have swung at that pitch. Luis Angel Acuna makes the play with ease. Baltimore gets 1, but they've got to leave this inning feeling disappointed because they had their chance to come back in the game and did not take advantage. Braden Montgomery draws a walk. He has now reached base in each of his first 4 plate appearances today. Tony Gwynn, what can I say? Oswaldo Escobedo singles into center. We're going to be aggressive. BMO heads for third. He is safe. The ballsy base running pays off. We've got runners on the corners with nobody out. That'll bring up Luis Robert. He's been quiet since the homer earlier. Goes down looking on the high inside fastball. He doesn't think that was a strike, and honestly, I agree. I think that was a bad call. Kyle Teal now, the 3-2 up the middle, base hit. That'll score Montgomery. We're going to be aggressive with Waldo as well. Second time's the charm. The Orioles throw him out. Grant McRae with the laser. He was prepared, knowing that we're willing to be a little dangerous running the bases. Brock Burke will come out of the bullpen to pitch the bottom of the 7th for the White Sox. I wanted to get him against Jackson Holliday so we could get the lefty-on-lefty matchup. Holliday hits it up the middle. Acuna does not even really go for it. That was kind of a lackluster effort. I feel like that was a makeable play, but it will be a base hit. Oselvis Basabe now up for Baltimore. He goes down looking. Big spot for the number 3 hitter, Jordan Westbrook, the 2-time All-Star who's been great this year, but 0 for 3 today. Gets that one by Ramos. It'll roll to the corner in left. Holliday's really fast. He will look to score, and he is safe as it's now 6-2. Baltimore will get another chance to break the game open because guess who's up? This guy, Mike Trout. Pair of strikeouts today. He hits a sharp one to short. Acuna makes the play, and the Orioles only get 1. They leave another runner in scoring position as both teams score 1 in the 7th, so it's still a 4-run game into the 8th. Zach Jackson will pick us up where we've left off. He's allowed 4 runs in 12 innings so far this year. He'll start with Brian Ramos, who's had a good game. He's reached base twice, make it a 3rd, his 2nd walk of the night. For a guy who's had issues with walks in his career, I love seeing the discipline from him. Cruz into right. That one is caught at the wall. It's Trout. Turning back the clock, going into the time machine. I did not know Grandpa could still get up like that. Unfortunate for Cruz, who nearly got his second extra base hit of the game. Full count for Acuna, swinging and a miss on the slider. Jackson through the 8th, it remains 6-2, as we will bring in Jairo Uriarte. As I said earlier, I want him pitching more. We moved him to the middle relief spot, and he's been really good. ERA around 3, whip barely above 1. He's given us everything we could hope for in his transition to being a reliever. Joey Bart singles into center field. That one was hit well. Bart has had a very good game for Baltimore offensively. With one away, it's Heriberto Hernandez, and this ball is clobbered into left center field. A long fly ball over Baltimore's bullpen into ours. 448 for Hernandez. That's his second home run of the year. I really thought Uriarte was starting to get comfortable with his new role, but maybe not. Baltimore's back in the game. They are within 2. 1-2 here for Grant McCray. This one is belted into the gap. Cruz will certainly not be able to make the play. It'll roll to the wall. Looks like it'll be a double for McCray. I'm sure he thought about going 3. I think he would have been safe. But nonetheless, he's in scoring position. We're going to take out Uriarte. Who do we trust in a big spot like this, especially with Tony Santillan and Brock Burke both already being used? We're going with the Rook. Ezra Valenzuela is going to come in a little bit early. 6 of 7 in save ops, has not blown one since the second game of the year. ERA is at 4, but again, just watching him, I don't think the numbers tell the full story. I think he has been more effective than that. Holiday pops up the high cutter. That cutter is just nasty. Watching him throw that is a spiritual experience. As Emmanuel Rivera will make the play. Orioles making it interesting, though, with the 2-run homer by Heriberto Hernandez as the rookie. Rolly Munoz in for Baltimore. He has an ERA of around 5 in his first big league season so far. Would make quick work of the 1-2-3 hitters, including Brady Montgomery. As that one is caught by Anderson de Los Santos. And at the bottom of the 9th, a 2-run game. Valenzuela looking for the 4-out save. We'll start with Basabe. Swings way too late at the cutter. 96. This guy throws so hard. Let's look at the sinker here. My God! That movement is not fair. It even got Mike Trout to jump out of his shoes. A 4-out save for Ezra Valenzuela. And the White Sox hold on to win at 6-4. Noah Schultz finally gets his first win of the year. 5 dominant innings. Got a little bit away from him in the 6th. Bullpen really was not that great. But Ezra Valenzuela came in and he shut the door. Brady Montgomery was great. He went 2 for 3 with a double, a pair of walks, an RBI, and he scored 3 times. That is the Brady Montgomery experience in a nutshell. His numbers are like not good enough to be an all-star or anything, but he's just been such a damn good ball player for us this year. Luis Robert homers, Kyle Teal drives in a pair, and then Schultz and Valenzuela, the standouts on the mound. 10 hits, 3 walks, not a bad game offensively, but certainly not great either for Baltimore. Michael King was pretty horrific. Their bullpen, though, was actually quite good. Povich and then the guys after him were all really solid. They've got to do something about Michael King. They're paying him a lot of money. So we'll go through these next 2 games in Baltimore against the O's. We ended up winning the second game, and so now we're looking for the sweep. We're in a good spot, 5-3, bottom 9. Valenzuela looking for another save. Tying run is aboard, winning run is up. It's Heriberto Hernandez who pops it into left. Montgomery is under it, and the White Sox complete the sweep, pushing our record back up to 500 at 16-16. Really, really strong 3-game set against a good team on the road here in Baltimore. Montgomery 0 for 5, 3 strikeouts. What happened to our guy? Everybody else was good, though. Homers for Cruz, Waldo, Lubob, and Ramos. The pitching was solid. John Gray outperforms rookie Sasaki, whose struggles continue. In the second game, Luis Robert, Colson Montgomery, Dylan Cruz all went deep as well with another good start by Drew Thorpe. So Luis Robert and Dylan Cruz have not been good this year, but they are really starting to figure it out. Lubob homered in all 3 games against the Orioles. He's actually homered in 4 straight games, has 5 over his last 10. Still not drawing any walks, which is not ideal. But he's hitting the ball a lot better. And the same can be said for Dylan Cruz, who's homered in back-to-back games, .359 average in his last 10. He's also not drawing any walks, which is not ideal. But these two are hitting the ball well, at least. As for Kyle Teel, he's hitting it well too, and he is drawing walks. I thought the plate discipline for him was pretty good here in April. His home run rate and his OPS are both a little worse than last year. Now, we still have 2 games left in April, but unless he goes berserk, I think we'll be able to avoid a suspension with him, thank goodness. That'll get us set for May. We're going to talk about the minors as well. We'll get our first look at number 2 overall pick Barney Wagner, who has been exactly as advertised in Double-A. The power hasn't really been there yet, but he's hitting .328. He's drawing a ton of walks. He has a base hit in each of his last 10 games. I'm excited to get to swing with him for the first time. I think he's a really exciting prospect who I think is going to really change the fortune of this team. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.